Boom.
TC, you're up. You're live. Live right now on the Outgoing Radio Show.
Everybody out there, welcome to a important Off the Lip radio show.
Vital.
Show number 585, I think. We've done a lot of shows, but welcome everybody. Welcome to everybody tuning in. Come on in. We have guests.
Oh,
Guest spectators. We're live on the air. Welcome to the show.
Really live on the air?
We're live on the air right now. By the way, there's thousands of people watching. I wanted to
There's 5
say.
people watching right now.
Okay, well, to everybody watching, welcome to a great Off the Lip radio show. We got spectator seating.
How are you? I'm Mark.
doing? Nice to meet you.
Mark?
I'm Mark, but this is his sister. So if you want to know the
Oh,
about Chief Mills?
We got the head.
Some questions about first girlfriends? We'll get into that.
This interview is over.
The seat just got hot, Neil.
Hold it, TC.
Are we good?
Boot him out. Get him out of here. Get the
No,
sister
we're going to
involved.
get the sister in here. By the way, everybody, I want to introduce our guest tonight is Chief Andy Mills of the Santa Cruz
Be the
Police
former
Department.
chief.
Not yet, but
I'm still here.
soon to be former chief. But congratulations, by the way,
Thank you.
Chief, because you're. It's well known you've been accepted and hired by Palm Springs
Right.
to lead their police department.
Right?
And the golf team.
And well, personally, I just want to thank you because I know it's a tough job. Your job is tough. And I want to thank you because I think you have made a positive impact on Santa Cruz. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm talking for myself.
Thank you.
TC, we never give a shit what anybody says.
I don't exactly. But what I want to start with is a simple question. What you expected coming in and what you're looking back leaving. How far apart are those two situations?
Wow, that's pretty deep. And we said we were.
We're going to go deep. You
We're
said
gonna go deep.
We're going deep.
We're
Yeah.
going deep.
But I mean, let's just start right off the bat. You came here not with a lot of background on our city.
Right.
You spent a few years here leading our police department, and now on your way out, you're looking back. The differences between those two.
So it's been just a little over 4 years. And I think what I expected coming in here is always different than the reality of what you get. I mean, who would have ever known that there would be a TC and Neil show? Off the Lip radio.
They succumbed to the
That-
lowest of the low.
That scoops
Yeah.
the story of the chief.
Right.
Well, and then who else would have known that, you take me out and get me drinks first so that it loosens up the lips a little bit.
Of course.
But I think that the main difference is this is such an involved community that people truly care about what happens here. And I'm so glad because that's really an important thing to have that engagement, the involvement, and the opinions that are never ending. And but I think that's a healthy thing. And that's why I choose to be a visible person. It's why I choose to be approachable and out in public, and pretty much everybody knows who I am, and aren't afraid to give me their opinions. But I think that's the best way to run a city, is to be accessible and to be available to people to give you what they really think. And one of the things I guess that I didn't quite grasp is how many different perspectives there are that people want to give you that opinion. I mean, you got the far left,
Far left.
far left,
Far right.
and far right, and then you got everybody else in a kind of a rainbow of opinions in the middle.
Right.
But I truly do listen to each one and really take it not for granted, but take it deep.
I like that approachable angle that you talk about because I feel like you came here with the first time you were on the show. You said that I want to be
With
Was
the worst
before-
mask ever.
That was
Yeah.
before the worst mask.
No, was it before the worst
No,
mask?
yeah, we had him at the radio station.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. But you said that was going to be your angle.
Right.
And I feel like anybody who really wanted to reach out and communicate with you,
Good.
you were able to.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lost art
Yeah.
a lot of times. And I feel like you did a great job. But getting back to my question, this wasn't a sleepy little surf town that you came to.
No.
Were you thinking you were coming to us?
No, but I've always behaved this way. I mean, a tiger doesn't change its stripes, and I've always believed that this was the best way to police and to lead. And so the same thing in Eureka, same thing in San Diego, is I wanted to be out there publicly, be approachable, and so forth. I did not mistake this as a sleepy little surf town. I was eyes wide open of what it was going to entail. I don't think you can ever quite estimate the politics side of it in any city, because you learn as you go, and so there was a lot of learning to do.
Was there the politics part of it? Was there ever a point that you? It's did every roadblock after roadblock based on politics?
Well, first of all, I really feel like I've had a lot of support from our city council members and city manager. So I don't feel like there's been a ton of roadblocks that are imposed by them necessarily. I think the roadblocks have come legislatively. The roadblocks have come through the courts, where there are just, let me get closer.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And are we talking like Prop 47 type
Prop
stuff?
47, Martin versus Boise decision. I mean, these are real obstacles, and so when you have a city like Santa Cruz, which is inundated with problems, that just exacerbates the problem. And so those are obstacles that the police must face. And now you have a legislative group that is really aggressive in terms of even putting more restrictions on the police and more scrutiny. The police need scrutiny. The police need oversight. But when it comes to the point where our officers are literally afraid to do their jobs for fear of being prosecuted for things that are truly marginal, this is a violent profession. You deal with violence all the time. And so when you have to worry about, am I going to lose my house, my life, my children, that causes people to hesitate. And that's exactly what I don't want to see. I don't want to see our officers hesitate.
And that's been a hiring problem based off of that, correct?
We're hiring well. I mean, Bernie Escalante, who's in charge of hiring for our department, has killed it. I mean, we actually, right now, we have a few open positions. I think we have 18 people in backgrounds. So Bernie's able to be a little bit more selective than most departments.
And a year ago, that wasn't the case. You were really struggling.
We're struggling staffing-wise from the standpoint that when they cut us back 10% of our positions, which is about 9 positions, then we lost all the Rangers on top of it. And then, so now you're down, 13 plus positions. And then we have 11 people injured right now, legitimate injuries. I mean, people getting hit by drunk drivers, people getting choked and until they're unconscious, and people with back injuries. And one guy has double wrist surgery, another guy had COVID. I mean, I can go on and on and on. So when you take 10% of your department away because of budget, then you take another 10% of your department away because of injuries, that hurts. And now you have some other openings on top of it. So it's just a difficult deal.
Top 3 moments of you being a chief police in this town are?
Off the Lip Radio Show?
Number 1, by far. Yeah, I'm serious. I actually.
You get the hell out of here. Yeah. Would you give him $100? Would you flip?
I was like, hey, if you answer this.
Yeah. Little side deal here. No, actually, when I resigned, I thought, people are going to call and want some interviews and stuff. What was it like and all that kind of thing.
Well, because we were drinking. We were drinking.
You were.
When we decided to
me.
Yeah.
That's a shock to everybody who knows you, by the way.
We were boozing.
Well, that's true. We heard the news, and I was like, Neil,
get him on.
We need the scoop.
Well, this was one of the ones I said, if they call me, I will absolutely do it.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, because it's just so much fun with you two.
We have a good time.
Because you're so reverent about everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you let us shoot guns.
That is true.
That is true.
We don't want to promote that, Neil. But I think top, few things are. We did de-escalation training early on, where our officers went through pretty rigorous training on how to de-escalate violent situations. And normally what everybody does is talks about it from the standpoint of, well, just talk nice to people. Well, at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm...
That's what Patrick Swayze did in that movie.
Was
Roadhouse?
this after George...
In the Roadhouse, right?
Just
be nice.
Just be nice.
Just be nice. Remember?
No,
just be nice.
I don't.
Was this a George Floyd thing that
Yeah.
you guys decide we have to change how we're going to interact?
This was well before that.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, when I first got here, we talked about de-escalation. And so there's CIT training, where critical incident training, where you talk to people and talk low and slow and try to help them see their errant ways. Well, at 3 o'clock in the morning, a guy's got a K-bar knife screaming like he's had a mental breakdown.
Had been a little smoking PCP
little,
too, or something.
Little angel dust and meth mixed with it, which in this town, not likely. They don't hear you. And somebody described it as a person putting on a football helmet and somebody taking drumsticks and banging on the helmet. Well, you can't hear anything other than drumsticks.
Right.
So I have to have a way physically to de-escalate that. And so we got 40 millimeter launchers, which is like getting hit with a fastball.
Is that a beanbag?
It's not a beanbag, but it's a rubber bullet, if you
Okay.
will. We got tasers for everybody. We put 40s in every single car. We got shields. And then we gave specialized training where they could understand how to be safe, but yet de-escalate these things with tools. And as a result, I can think of 3 incidents in particular where that would have been a justifiable shooting, and our officers chose not to shoot, and thereby saving those.
And that doesn't hit the headlines, though. No one knows. That doesn't hit the
Nope.
public in next door or whatever. It doesn't hit that.
No,
No.
and
You
so
get the bad press.
well,
Yes.
yeah, we get all the press, right?
Yeah.
And Santa Cruz is kind of the central hub of the area here, and so it kind of focuses on us. In fact, I complained to the Sentinel one day and said, you print everything here. I mean, the next jurisdiction over can have a shooting. You're like, okay, whatever. But if we have one, it's like, oh my gosh, it's front page news. Like, well, it does say the Santa Cruz Sentinel. So that's a good point.
Right.
Right.
Right. I want to jump ahead. As you leave, is there a regret for something that you couldn't achieve while you were here in your 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things that I wish I had done better, or had spent more time on, or maybe pushed harder in certain areas. And I think that certainly I wish that we had gotten further down the road with the homeless issues in our city. It was really a goal when I came in. Really had hoped that we could make some significant progress. The infrastructure is not there. And
That's
it's
pushing
not-
the rock up the hill, and the rock's not, and it's like pushing the rock up the Matterhorn or the Everest.
Yeah, and it's wet ground.
Right.
It's just really tough. And without, I was talking to a person today on a different show, and
What?
What?
TC, what?
I thought we had the scoop.
yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
No, you know what we got?
Sister?
Got sister.
She's coming on next.
Careful, careful. And,
Yeah.
and I was mentioning, his question was, well, whose fault is this? It's all of our fault.
Absolutely.
It's my fault. I mean, there's more I could do. It's his fault. The guy that was interviewing me, and pretty progressive side, and said, well, how many extra beds do you have in your house right now that are not going slept in? A lot. And then it's also their fault. The people who are out there in the benchlands, it's their fault too, because they have burned every bridge that they know and have loved to be out there in the benchlands.
Right.
And so
And I agree with that.
it's everybody's fault. We all need to accept responsibility for it if we're going to find solutions.
I have this theory that when if I have a guest in my house and he sleeps on the couch and trashes my house,
Peace out.
yeah,
Right.
and so that's if you're a guest of the community, treat it like you're a guest, and I think that's one of the problems that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've talked to many of the folks living in the benchlands and other places, and said, one of the things you could do to really help us as we try to find, accommodations, as we try to really help you, is take care of our community. I mean, if you just spent 5 minutes a day picking up all the trash around where you're staying, you would hear very few complaints from this community. I honestly believe that.
That's true.
If you didn't steal stuff and
You clean up your trash.
and clean up the trash and not leave hypodermic needles laying all over the place, there would be very few people who would complain. But the problem is when people look at this and say, "Oh my gosh, this is a disaster, ecological disaster, it's an economic disaster, it's a everything disaster," then that's where people get frustrated.
It's so simple to think, Neil.
Go ahead.
5 minutes a day.
Right, picking up shit.
Imagine the difference that could have on our community
Right.
if everybody who was in that situation just took 5 minutes to clean up.
Right. Now, we recognize that a lot of those folks have mental health problems and drug addiction problems. And there needs to be more resources for those people. That's going to take a federal government and a state government response. Remember, when I was a kid growing up, we had the Coldwater State Hospital, the town we grew up in, that's where the people who had mental illness. Now, those were gotten rid of for good reason. I mean, there was some real abuse going on at the, what do you call it, the electric shock therapy and all those kind of
Right.
things. But those things needed to change. However, we've gone the opposite way. Now we've tried to incarcerate all those folks. If you look at a graph, it was a decline of people being in mental health institutions and a complete incline of people going to jail for the same thing.
Right.
Which probably costs 2 or 3 times as much.
It's crazy. I mean, we could put a kid through Harvard for what it takes to lock them up.
Right.
Martine Watkins, I met with her today.
Yeah.
Okay,
Martine.
Martine. Excuse me.
He's English.
She had a question for
He's
you.
actually not. He's New Zealand.
She had a question for you. Who was your favorite mayor?
Well, of course, since you talked to Martine today, it's Justin Cummings. I've actually gotten along with each of the mayors, and I know people are really highly critical of our elected officials here, but
Who wants the job?
they do this for literally free. I mean, they get a couple pennies towards health care or something like that, but it's nothing, and they put in ungodly hours.
Right.
And I'm on Zoom calls with them. I get emails for 2 o'clock in the morning where Shebra and some of the others are working like crazy. Martine is a brilliant woman who's a health and all policies guru, and Donna Myers, I know you've had her on the show.
Donna's awesome. Yeah.
These are really good people, and I know people are highly critical because they could do it much better from the keyboard in the bathroom.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
so sad because to have people in our community that care so much that they'll help the community at the exchange of having people in their front yard yell at them.
Right.
And to think about that is we don't give our elected officials enough credit.
Yep.
Because it's like you said, they're doing it for a hobby.
Right.
And if you want to do a better job, don't complain. Run.
I mean, look at Martine. Has 2 children, a
Yep.
husband, a full-time job, and does this on top of it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how they get it done, and then surfs occasionally as well.
And steals my waves. Yeah, she does that.
Yeah.
She
Steals your waves.
does.
She owes you a
Drops
couple
in on
waves.
you.
A lot of waves.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of waves. I want to take this moment just for hang on a second.
Okay.
Could you stand next to your bro, please?
This is my golden opportunity.
I know it.
Oh, this is where the good stuff.
This is my sister.
And,
Stay tuned.
I want to say one thing. I want to dedicate this show. I want to dedicate this show to your brother. Right.
Yeah,
So we just want to say dedicate the show to him.
that's awesome.
To Tim.
Huh? To
Tim.
Tim. Tim's his name.
To Tim.
Yeah,
I
to
gotcha.
Tim. Yeah.
Okay.
So you sit there. You, Chief, beat it.
Okay, here we
Hey,
go.
by the way, you're dealing with state champion track star.
We are.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that. All right.
Okay.
I'm dealing with like the California cool guys.
Well, not at all.
I mean, you guys are like really rock stars.
Okay, hold on a second.
Hang on a minute.
Hold it. First off, I want to get to the track champion part first off. And what's your name, by the way?
Lori.
Lori. Okay.
Why don't you
This-
tell
this
them about our race?
This is Chief Andy
Okay.
Mills' sister.
Lori.
Now, we always found out, and over the years,
Younger sister.
over the years, we've had relatives that come by. They stop in. The relatives and best friends, they know the scoop.
They do.
Right.
Yeah. Did you approve of the first girlfriend?
First girlfriend.
What was her
your
name?
First girlfriend, Kathy.
Kathy?
Kathy, she was a doll baby.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
You liked her?
She was a different Kathy. The one he's got now is awesome.
Yeah.
No,
and,
yeah.
and the first one was good too.
How old were you when the first one arrived?
I was about 14. Wasn't she 16? Yeah.
How old was he? 25.
No, he was 16. He was 16.
So you liked the first Kathy.
I liked it first.
Okay. Was there one along the line you didn't like?
No.
Really?
They
He had
weren't
good
good.
choice
He
in
had good
ladies.
choices.
All right,
Wow,
Chief.
good-
Well done.
But
job,
he had
Chief.
too many choices at one point, and I just said, leave my friends alone, okay?
Oh, we have balls in the air.
Oh, hold on a second. You're picking fruit off your sister's tree? What the heck's going on, Chief? Okay, all right. I see how it goes. All right, well, yeah, you're like, hey, easy. Yeah. Okay, that's good stuff. Let's get to your state. I'm interested about this champion.
State championship.
The
State champion.
What happened?
Yes.
What-
Well, we lived in a very small town. And so, there wasn't a lot of runners, I would say, right, Andy? And they just worked with me, and they brought out the best in what I could do. And I ran hurdles and ran track, and
Wow.
Yeah,
So, state of California?
no, it was the state of Michigan.
Oh, Michigan.
Oh.
Okay. And that's snowy there a lot, so maybe you don't run 12
Not
months out
during
of the
the
year.
snow, right.
So you snuck up and got them.
Yeah,
Nice job.
exactly.
Okay.
About the race with Clyde, Lori.
Oh.
Oh,
There you
yeah,
go, got the-
yeah.
Clyde?
So my dad was like all about sports. And so Andy was actually an All-American in football.
There you go. We didn't know
Yeah.
this shit.
We're learning, like, this is why we bring the sister in.
Hey, the head damage makes sense now.
Okay. A bunch of concussions. That's why he's a chief of police. Okay.
So, Dad really, pushed us hard to try really hard in sports and whatnot. And so I was running the 440 relay, and I was the anchor. And someone was right ahead of me when I got the baton, and I just was going for it as hard as I could. And I could tell that she was either next to me or behind me, but I couldn't tell how far. All I heard was my dad yelling, "Lean, baby, lean! Lean, baby, lean!" And I literally just threw myself
That's awesome.
over the finish line, and
You're lean enough.
You
Face
won.
planted.
That was your state championship lean.
Yes, well, not state. It was All-American in track, and so I was able to get state scholarships if I wanted them.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, I didn't go on to state college because I didn't want to run.
Wow.
I was done.
How did you feel about your brother joining the police force way back when?
I was a little nervous about it. I always knew he was wired for something like that, and but I've prayed a lot down through the years, a lot, especially when he was out on the beat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And,
He told us stories about San Diego,
Yeah, it was
Like,
pretty crazy.
hiding under cars and shooting guns
Yeah.
and stuff, and being
What's
a cop.
really
Yeah.
wild is riding with him in the car when he's at work.
We never got that opportunity.
We
did,
didn't.
yeah,
Well,
we did.
We
We
wanted to
didn't
get in the
call.
Bearcat.
right.
Is there time, Chief, to get in the Bearcat? Maybe. Okay. All right.
Going
Cover up
airborne
some
through
wine.
alleys. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so let's fast forward. He meets the new Kathy.
Yes.
Where was that at? Let's get.
She was my roommate in college.
I stole another one.
My
Picking
sweet mate.
fruit off the tree.
Oh, fruit off the
It
tree.
never ended. Hold everything.
Holy shit.
You've been setting him up his whole life. What the heck?
I've been pretty good to you, haven't
Yeah. Jeez.
So
That's
how
one Kathy after the next.
How many chicks have come from your tree?
Has there been more than two?
I
He's
I
asking
plead
that
the
for his own
fifth.
purpose.
You're claiming the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
So as far as you know, it's only been two Kathys.
Oh, there'd be three Kathys.
Do I
That'd be
dare say, Andy?
Look at him over there. He's getting
sweating
nervous.
Let's just say this.
Okay.
The Kathy he has
Yes.
is prime rib.
Okay.
Okay?
That's good.
The others weren't quite prime rib for
They
him.
were just
Okay.
skirt
Right.
steak.
Right,
Yes.
they were just good hamburgers.
Right. And we've met Kathy. She's amazing.
She is,
Obviously, he's
yes.
happy as a clam over
Right.
there. So
Yeah.
we don't worry about that. We want some more dirt, though.
Oh
Okay,
my God.
I'll tell you about the first time he ever disappointed me.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's
Here we
good
go.
stuff.
That's a
Yeah,
good-
this is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
No, he was a wonderful brother, and I adored him. I had three brothers, and he was the second one in a row. I'm the third, and then our little brother. And when we went to school, I was always excited for recess so I could get outside, and I would always look for Andy. He always had a bunch of friends around him, and
Cool
we
guy.
just
He's a
yeah,
cool
he was-
dude.
Yeah.
He was the California cool guy, even though we lived in Michigan. So anyway, I would come outside, and as soon as I spotted him, I'd make a beeline for him and give him a big old hug, and then I'd go off and play. And then he sat me down one day, and he said, "This is when he was in second grade, and I was in kindergarten." He said, "I think it's time for you to stop hugging me every time you come out on the playground." That was the first time he disappointed me.
This is
Because maybe you were moving in on the other chicks that he was interested. He's like, hey,
Hey, bro.
back up a little
But
bit.
in second grade, he said, "But there's a girlfriend you have named Kathy."
Oh, okay. I was like, how many Kathys have you picked off her tree?
See any trends here?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, if your name's Kathy,
He's got,
stay
you know
away.
what? If he's got Kathy tattooed on his body,
That's-
he's okay.
So those are the Kathy stripes on his jacket over there. Oh, by the way, this is awesome because we always get the best
Yes.
dirt
Yeah.
from like
He ain't gonna tell you
wives,
shit.
sisters.
You know what?
Yeah, he's the
You can investigate him to death. He's not telling you shit.
Exactly. No,
Right.
I get it. Do you remember when you went to prom?
I don't. No.
That was with
No?
Kathy.
No, I don't remember that.
It was with a Kathy.
Come up with
I got
another
50
one.
bucks.
Okay.
Says TC. I got 50 bucks. It says it was
Okay.
with a Kathy.
I want to know this. Because you were very close. Did you
Yes.
go to school dances together? Did you ever see him on the dance floor?
How was that?
He can dance.
No, come
Oh,
on.
really?
Yeah, hey,
He's
make-
got-
come out here and do some moves for
Oh,
us.
yeah, he's gonna pull a hammy over there. Yeah.
Kathy,
He's got a stretch. Yeah. So he's got dance moves.
He's trust me, he's way better than I am. I have no rhythm. And
Huh.
he's got
Let's
the
go
rhythm.
rhythm. TC.
Wow, see, this is where we're digging it out, Neil. I'm working. I'm
coming.
getting this right now. So the dance moves at the wedding. Was he like showcasing the wedding?
Oh, their wedding was amazing.
Was it?
Okay.
Oh yeah. I don't remember you guys dancing at the wedding, but I do remember the fondue. They had this massive
Cheese.
fondue pot,
Oof.
and all this fruit and cheesecake and everything. You just dip it, and yeah, it was really cool.
And
Down in
the-
San Diego.
And the wedding song was? You remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember?
the flavor of the cake?
Dude,
They
I
didn't
can't
have it.
remember
They had the
my
fondue.
name.
Oh, fondue was that?
Yeah,
Now,
they're very creative.
do you live here in Santa Cruz?
No, I live in Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento. Because the Chiefs moved to Palm Springs. That's not
I
closer to
know.
Sacramento.
No, I know.
Close to the
Is that a
grandkids,
bummer
though.
for you? Are you a little upset
No,
about
we
that?
have a new place to go.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
they always have really fun place to go and do it all upright.
is that funner than Pacific Avenue in downtown Santa Cruz, Palm Springs? Because his place on Pacific Avenue, you kind of have to run the gauntlet to get
Right.
to it. So Palm Springs might
But
be
Santa
nicer.
Cruz, I mean, it's always fun.
See,
to come
we're
to
going
Santa Cruz.
to get the description in a minute from the chief, but the left uppercut he had in his last fight down there.
Oh yeah, we should probably
Was
segue
it left
into
hand, was it
that.
left hand or the right?
Well, can you talk about that, Chief?
Yeah.
Okay, well, can
Yeah,
we
yeah.
switch out on this? We
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Okay, let's
Okay.
bring this in.
Keep up
Okay.
the coolness,
Hey,
guys.
thanks for the dirt on the Chief.
Oh,
by the way.
fantastic
Yeah,
dirt.
that was awesome.
That was good.
Was I easy?
Sorry, Kathy.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Kathy.
Which one?
All of them. All three. Is there three Kathys or
Hey,
just two?
Yeah, statute.
So, Neil, you brought up a great point.
What's that?
The last time we had a Chief on the show,
Yeah.
after the show,
Yes. It was, he
We-
goes, what do you want to do? I'm like, what? I don't know. We're going to go home.
yeah, we walked. No, but
We
we
thought we were
walked.
gonna
We
get a
walked
beer.
the avenue, and we had a little Mexican food.
Oh, that's right.
And you described this one incident that happened to you downtown that, quite frankly, was pretty shocking. And
Oh, don't sound like you're shocked about
Shocking.
anything, my God.
Yeah.
This guy, are you kidding?
first off,
Shocking.
shocking to some. To me, normal. But
Yeah.
I want to talk about this because it's important, I think, for the public to hear is that when you came to Santa Cruz, you decided you were going to live in the thick of it. You didn't want to hide in Scotts Valley. You didn't want to be on Westcliff. You wanted to be downtown.
I think TC from the minute he got here, he had 1 foot on banana field, 1 foot out the door.
Well, let's get your opinion on that. Was it?
What's a banana?
It's a tough. I don't know, but so he seems to think that you came here eyeing the exit. But my point
No,
is,
not
you
at all.
No, I'm
came
just
here.
kidding. I was
You
just
came
joking.
here. You wanted to be with the people.
Listen, we started out in Capitola. I don't know if you know that.
I did, and you got flack for that.
Well, yeah, but it was really an issue of we rented a house completely unseen, and it was just we're just
In
trying to
Capitola,
find.
you got shit for that?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, because the Santa Cruz cop can't live in Capitola.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember it.
yeah, and so we rented in Capitola because we just needed to find a place to stay, and it's always tough. And so we rented a house from Jack and Jill. Believe it or not, it was great. It was on Cabrillo, and it was awesome little place to stay. But we were looking to be in the city. So we found a little loft above Forever 21. And had a lot of fun. So one day, Kathy always walks the stairs because everybody knows Kathy. She walks Westcliff, every single day, just 8 to 10 miles a day.
She's kind of a jock.
Yeah, she's more of a jock than I am. And so, although she's gimpy right now, 'cause she broke her foot chasing her grandkids.
That's a rough sport.
That's a rough sport, And so she took the stairs. I came down the elevator and I came outside, and this guy's kind of trying to come into our apartment building. And I don't recognize the guy, and so it's secured by electronic key.
At the key level, right there on the street.
Right. Yeah, the street level. And so I saw him coming. I just pushed the door shut, and expletive, deletive. I just need to go in there and take a leak. I said, well, there's no place to take a leak. Our lobby doesn't have any place for you to go to the bathroom. And F you, bitch, and all this kind of thing. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. That's fine. You can't get in, so I'm not really too worried about it. So I go to step around him, and he blocks my path. And I'm going, yeah, it's not good, bro.
Ding, ding, round one.
Yeah. Strike one. And so I said, look, I'm not looking for a conflict. I just need to go around you and go about my way.
Can you describe this guy?
Yeah, he's about 25 years old, maybe 5'10", 220. Pretty stout.
Right.
And of course, I'm 63 at the time. I'm thinking, yeah, okay, this is not good. And so I'm sizing up. Okay, what's going to be my first move? And it's like when I played basketball against a kid a lot younger than me. In my mind, I was going to shake left and move right, and I shook left, and he was there, and moved right, he was still there. Not as fast as I used to be. It's like the Toby Keith song. What's that one? I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. Well, that's gone now. So anyways, I go step around him again, he blocks my path again, and he's got his fist clenched up and all that kind of thing. And I said, look, I don't want to fight. And so he stepped towards me, I just grabbed him and threw him into the street. And Kathy comes around the corner, and I'm rolling around the street with this guy, and she's on the phone, 911. Hey, the chief needs some help at this location.
He's playing football in the street.
Yeah, and the dispatcher's like, Chief, what do you mean? Who's the chief? And because it's a multi, there's a lot of departments on that thing. She goes, Chief Mills needs some help. He's at this location. Then I can hear the sirens coming, and so we got the guy in custody, and he went to jail for assault. But then it was funny though. He's standing in jail with his handcuffs, and he looks at one of our officers as a woman, and she's a dynamic personality and great officer. Just think the world of Dominique. And he goes, so, would it get in a fight with the mayor? And she looks at him, she goes, no, for us, worse.
It was funny is that that his story, it's a fishing story, right?
Yeah.
He mopped up the chief.
Yeah.
It's like, he's like, oh yeah, I took him down.
Yeah.
Did he get a good shot on him? Did he
No, he didn't get a good shot.
You didn't get a good shot on him? Yeah.
No,
And the first guy on scene, what is he like? Chief.
really?
Could you have done better?
No, with the first guy, he's like, really? I gotta take paper on this?
Oh my goodness.
No.
That is funny. And so, did you get the worst of that exchange?
My hip hurt for a while because when I threw him, I fell to the ground too, and I don't know what if he didn't have any injuries, so he's fine.
And is that your only experience downtown the whole time you've been living there?
No, there was one other.
And just a quick description.
Well, just I was walking home from work, and two guys are fighting out in the middle of the street, and I'm looking at it thinking, okay, I'm going to try to get past this one. Call, let the troops come and handle it. Chief, we need your help. But dang it, because most people know who I am
Right.
down there. So I just walked over and just pinned the guy's arm to the ground, who was the aggressor, and sat on his arm. You're not going to go anywhere if your arm is pinned to the ground.
Right.
And the officers came and dealt with it, so it was really much of a...
Chief,
When an officer rolls up, I'll let you go off this, but when an officer rolls up and they see the chief is like holding a suspect to the ground, do they like high five you? Are you? Because is that normal?
No, it's not normal, but I also think that they're thinking, this is going to cost me 3 hours of paperwork.
Oh, it's all about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work. And our folks are fantastic. They'll always cover. They'll always, come and help you, and they'll do their job.
Right.
But I think it's more of an issue of, hey, look, don't be annoying. We can find work on our own. But
Chief, you're at the pulse of the heartbeat of the city, in your position, and you're taking off, going to Palm Springs, and we love you for it, and we hope you come back.
you love me for going to Palm Springs, so
Yeah,
get
no, we
that
don't.
guy out of here.
We think I think Bernie's going to be the next chief of police, and you support Bernie. I think he's going to be the next. He's been on the show, and I saw him the other day, and he's just a great guy, and I hope he deserves a spot. But if you come back here in 3 years, what do you think you'll see?
I think I'll continue to see a thriving community. This is an amazing city. I mean, you got the surf culture, the skate culture, which obviously you promulgate with this beautiful building. I mean, with this openness where people talk and have fun. They don't take themselves too seriously. Yeah, that's the stuff that makes the city great, and that's why I've adored living here. It just really comes down to an issue of
What's the roadblock that's stopping us from the city? That people aren't going downtown right now. What's that? And there's other issues. What's the roadblock? Do you think?
Well, you say people aren't going downtown right now, but I've been down there every weekend.
Okay.
It's packed.
Okay.
There are people all over the place. Great city. I mean, it's fantastic. The people are great. We got a bunch of smart people here. You got tech people. You got the university. You've got surf, culture and crowd, and I just, You know the Buckman Turner Overdrive song, Taking Care of Business? I love their work at doing nothing all day.
Right.
There's a bunch of guys that hang out on Westcliff. That's their theme song.
Right.
And you know what? I really appreciate that's what they have chosen in their life.
Right.
Is that this is what I want to do. I don't care if I have to sleep on in a little tiny apartment somewhere or have a big mansion. This is what I want to do. And so that's what makes Santa Cruz so cool.
I'd like to get this on there. A lot of naysayers say you're leaving town or skipping town. All the people that those people. And, he's not leaving just because of his grandkids. But you are leaving. You are leaving because of your grandkids, and I don't blame you for leaving because your grandkids are down south. And you always post on Facebook all your stuff about your grandkids. Right. And you're leaving because of the grandkids.
Well, I'm pretty transparent. I mean, come on, everybody has my cell phone. They have my Facebook. They've got my Instagram. Cell phone number, TC?
I do, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning, the drunk dials.
Yeah,
that's
help!
But it's a couple of things. One, I've been here 4 years. The average tenure of chief in our nation right now is 3 years.
We spoke about that before. How many
40.
The chiefs in the United States of America? How many districts are there? 75 chiefs.
No. Major City Chiefs Association.
Major City Chiefs.
They have 79 chiefs. This last year, 45 have left their jobs. That's how much turnover there is. The state of Minnesota, 45% of their chiefs have quit in the last year, have been fired.
Because
it's just a stressful job right now, and it's so difficult. People are just over it. And then I think there's a lot of reasons, but that's not why I'm leaving. I mean, I'm leaving because it's the opportunity for someone else to step up. I've had a very external focus, working with the community, making contacts with the community, and now there needs to be more of an internal focus to really take care of our officers and to really work within the organization. And I think that there are people better suited for that than me, number one, at this organization. And then the second thing is, truly, I've got 4 grandkids between 7 and 1.5. They are the light of our life. Florence is 7, and she is just a beast in terms of wanting, Grandpa, let's go out and look for nests and we were in a museum, a Scripps aquarium.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, look at the bullheaded shark. Grandpa, that's not a bullheaded shark. That's a such and such shark. I said, well, I know what a shark is, Florence. And she goes, no, look right here. And it pulls out a little thing. Yeah, she was 100% right.
She told you. You're right.
And then I got Andrew that's playing baseball, and Miguelito that's playing soccer, and Scout who's just angry at everybody. So. That's important for me to be part of their lives, and so that's what I want to do.
I don't blame them. I mean, I think about your wife, Kathy.
Right.
Because as a grandparent, I feel like my wife misses those grandkids.
Right.
Like,
she does.
To a higher level. I'm so busy. You're so busy. Sometimes you kind of forget. But I can imagine how important it is for Kathy to want to be around those grandkids.
And can I ask you, as far as the next chief is concerned, do you prefer that we hire somebody that's internally and local, or someone like yourself who came from Eureka or from
Well, it depends on what you want to accomplish.
Okay.
And I brought a certain skill set to the city, and the skill set was being able to be open and transparent and working with community members and getting out and contacting people and kind of having a little bit different vibe. I think that now the city needs to really consider what do they want to accomplish next.
Right.
And I honestly believe that one of the things we need to do is, because policing is so tough right now, our people are hurting. After 2 years of COVID, of social, we had over 60 protests in our city, and our officers handled it. They are exhausted, and so we really need someone who can come in, focus on the wellness of the organization, have their best interests at heart, and take the lead from there. And I do believe that that's internal.
Right.
But again, I don't make that decision.
Right.
And I've given my opinion, and I'm just going to back away and give them the space to make the opinion. They might have a different opinion.
I think what you did when you first came in, putting the feet on the street, I think that's really important too. Because it's when you get to know your police officers, I feel like the community has more respect.
Right.
And putting them on the street, walking on the street, meeting the people, You know, we saw Andy
Andy Dowley.
Dowley become the Capitola.
Congratulations, Andrew.
Yeah, he's a great kid, but he, I feel like he's been really proactive in being in front of the community, and you were very open to being in front of the community. I feel like that's important. I feel like Santa Cruz wants that. They need that. So I hope whoever does replace you can have that sort of mindset as well, and then tighten up internal things that you talk about and
Right.
some of the things that maybe you thought.
Do you
you
see, I
could,
want Bernie Escalante to become the next chief. I mean, you do, I think. I think you gave
Well,
your...
yeah, no, I absolutely support Bernie, but
Yeah.
I think that we've gotten to a position where that can be maintained to what we're doing now. I mean, in even shows like this where people are watching and kind of getting a sense of who the police
There's
are.
3 people watching right now.
Okay, well, hey,
no, there's more. There's 5.
yeah, but that's important to continue that kind of thing, but also then take care of the officers.
Right.
And I mean, literally, I was talking to another chief today from a different city, and they were just describing how exhausted their officers are. We pay double overtime for some of the special events that come to town, like triathlons and surf events and so forth. You can't find people to do it
Right.
because they're just literally that tired. And it's been 2 years. And then now you get to COVID mandates and all that kind of thing. And that becomes a completely different
That's a
story.
different cup of tea. That's a whole different show,
Yeah.
right?
So going to Palm Springs. I mean, Frank Sinatra loved
Hang
Palm
on,
Springs.
TC, I got a couple of... This is for Palm Springs.
Oh, it's a golf tee. 2 golf tees. So heading out to Palm Springs, what you foresee as your challenges going to Palm Springs?
Well, I think first of all, getting to know the community and the officers, and kind
They're
of.
lucky to have you, by the way.
Oh,
They're very, very lucky to have you.
And I mean, your philosophy the same. You're going to be out in the
Same guy.
front. You're going to walk the streets. You're going to have your greet and meets.
Yep.
TC, we got to drive 8 hours to go do another show as chief.
Come
Let's
on
go
down,
do it.
guys.
Can we do a follow-up show?
I will get you tea times.
Let's do this. We're going to do a follow-up show in Palm Springs. I like that a lot. And when does it start? When's your first day on the job?
Not sure. Yeah, so we're trying to get the details worked out. But my last day here is the 29th. It'll probably take a couple days off to
Move.
kind of move and recuperate and that kind of thing. But so early November.
So you've been announced
Yes.
in Palm Springs.
Right.
What was the response from Palm Springs, in your opinion?
Was overwhelmingly thank you for coming, and we look forward to getting to know you.
And
Wow.
was there
Alright.
any part of the show that made it to your resume?
I got to be frank with you, Neil.
Yeah, be frank. No.
Not one damn thing.
That's a loaded question. You knew the answer. Why would you even ask that question?
I was hoping. I was trying to get some.
No. Oh, boy.
But I've been actually spent probably a couple hours today talking with both captains on the job there, and wonderful people, Melissa and Mike, and we talked and some of the issues going on, and is there anything that they want to be at least be aware of as I'm kind of thinking through what we do, but I'm really interested in going in there, listening first, talking to everybody, kind of getting a sense of what the issues are, building that mission and that plan to move forward with them, and then figuring out from there.
Is that a similar sized police force as that we run here?
A little bit larger,
Oh, it is big.
but
Okay.
the city is just a little bit smaller. Which they're 106, we're 94, so it's 10% difference. And they're, I think, 48,000.
And so what you know from so far, what in your opinion is the number one challenge for you going in there?
Well, there's a couple challenges. One, they still have homeless issues.
In Palm Springs?
Yep.
Okay.
Not quite as visible from what I could see when I was there the last time, but still homeless issues. And then the second thing is they've got some gun violence going on that I feel strongly about. And when I was in San Diego, I was in charge of gangs and criminal intelligence, counterterrorism. And right now, there are so many ghost guns on the street.
Yeah.
Ghost guns being unmarked.
They're basically manufactured without serial numbers, and they're sold under the table.
Is that like your classic AR-15 built with parts that never gets registered?
Yep. AR-15s, a lot of handguns. Some are 3D printer type deals, hard plastic, and so there's a variety of things that are taking place. And violence, if you're looking at nationwide data, violence has gone through the roof.
Right.
Gun violence especially. I think some of it's because of COVID. People are just literally
Loading up.
struggling
Yeah.
emotionally. we've had a lot of suicide attempts, including kids. That are just, I think, this has really had a profound effect on the psyche of our nation.
Right.
Well, and they see the stress of their parents. You know, it trickles all the way down. It's my fault type things.
Right.
Getting back to that gun issue, is there ever a solution to gun control?
Well, gun control
Or
gun violence?
Gun violence, yeah.
Yeah, keep you two off the range would be a good start.
I'm really bad.
last-
Actually, I beat him now.
Bullshit.
I did too.
You were spraying him all over the map.
No, I hit the.
What are you talking about?
Can you just give us
Well,
a
if you looked online, somebody commented how was the grouping, and I
Yeah.
said it looked like a nighttime sky. You know, stars all over the place.
the Milky Way?
The Milky Way, yeah. But that was
Yeah.
Neil, I think.
You
Possibly.
you told the marksman you missed, bro.
No, I mean, well, no, he had his SWAT team guy.
Yeah.
And I like completely put my thumb across and it
Yeah,
got
bit
me.
you.
And he's like, "Hey, bro, don't put your thumb behind that." I learned.
So, but there are some solutions for gun violence that are rooted in evidence-based, policing and research. And there's a thing called leverage deterrence, where you find what leverage you can get over those who are likely to do shootings and use that as a deterrent.
Right.
There's a book called Bleeding Out by Thomas Abt, ABT, and it's an amazing piece of work on the metadata analysis of what has taken place in reducing gun violence across the nation. And it's really a powerful book, and in fact, I gave it to all my command staff and had them read it as part of their development. And so there are things we can do for gun violence. We don't have a ton of that here.
Right.
But I think there are things you can do.
You know, I've been wanting to do something here personally because I have a skateboard shop, and I saw a few years ago, maybe it was in San Jose. If you brought in a gun, they gave you concert tickets, and I wanted to do something here to where if you brought in a gun, you could get a skateboard. Because at that level, I mean, we're talking like 16 and 18-year-olds that have a ground-off serial number gun. Like to me. Those are the guns we got to get off the street.
Right.
Responsible gun owners, more power to them.
Right.
It's all these guns that are sort of in the shoulders of society. As a business owner, because I know a lot of business owners have things they can contribute to help that out. Who would I contact? Would I would call down to SCPD and be like, "Hey, I got an idea. I want to do," and you get an officer in here and trade skateboards for guns?
Dude, I will hook you up with Bernie and Jose, Bernie Aslani and Jose Garcia. That would be an unbelievable project.
It would be.
Because I agree that if you're targeting that group,
Right.
that's where you want to get the guns. If you're between the ages of, let's say, 16 and 25,
Right.
and you want to trade a gun, we will give you a skateboard.
Yeah.
And maybe the city or the PD could kick in asset seizure funds to help with that, to work with you and some other surf skate companies. I think that would be an amazing project. In fact, if you want to come to Palm Springs, I'll do it there with you.
Wow. All right. Well, I love that. I've been wanting to do that on my own because I have this theory that when I started this business, my whole goal was to change one kid's life, and we did that.
Tell that story, dude.
Well, which one?
The one you told me just before we got on the air about the guy who stole from you.
Oh well. Okay. Real quick. I had an employee who stole from us, and I said to him, "If you write
And you
me,"
caught him stealing.
I caught him stealing,
Right.
and he swore that he didn't steal, and I caught him. And
on camera.
and I said to him, "If you write me a letter apologizing, we'll discuss this." And he did. He wrote me a beautiful letter describing his emotions and how terrible he feels, and because of that, I mentored him. And I told you yesterday I saw him, and he's finishing his master's degree with a teaching credential. He is now running a preschool, and he's teaching the preschoolers how to skateboard. And yesterday I gave him a free skateboard so the preschoolers would have a skateboard to skateboard on.
Right.
And I was so proud of him. I gave him a big hug yesterday because of the fact that the fork in the road, and maybe my little pep talk made him turn left instead of turning right. But as of yesterday, here's this kid that was in the fork, took the right way, getting a master's, teaching the preschool, and making kids' lives better.
Making good decisions.
Right, and if we all try to be better, the world would be so different. You know, it's
That's
just one
called
at a time.
That's called restorative justice.
Right.
That truly has an impact on
Right.
people.
Absolutely.
I mean, so what if we, you know, so if he decided, you know, I'm not gonna fess up to this. You say, fine, I'll take the evidence, I'll give it to the cops, they're gonna prosecute you. We're gonna send you through the court system, which is gonna cost us probably $50,000 just to send him through the court system.
Right.
And then he's gonna get probation
Right.
with no time served or anything like that. What good is this gonna do for this young man? Where this had an impact. There's the idea.
Right. Yeah. No, it really made a big change in his life, and I feel like if more, it's almost like how policing is too. Like it's not just throwing them in a cell is not the way we're gonna win this. You know, because they come out and the whole time they're in there, they want to come out and do that same junk again.
Or learn how to do it better.
Exactly. Right. And they come. Normally they come out worse.
Right.
And so I just felt like it made a big impact, and and so anyways, getting back to that story, I feel like we can do more of that. And as far as the skateboard goes for guns, I'm gonna call Rudy because we're gonna do that.
Bernie.
Bernie. I mean, yeah, and
Yeah.
possibly it could. Rudy's his brother, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so possibly it could be something that we could expand on.
You should.
With my connections with local manufacturers.
Yeah.
So
You know, we did a gun buyback with the sheriff's office, and I mean, a lot of guns got turned in.
yes.
You know, now a lot of older people stand in line with, you know, World War II rifles, but I mean, if you can figure it out how to kind of narrow
Well, those
it
are
down.
unsafe guns.
Well, those are unsafe guns, and
Yeah.
if they're stolen, then that becomes a weapon.
You know someone's going to come down here from Pleasure Point with a Sherman tank.
Or a bazooka or something. And you know what? Get them off the street is the
Yeah.
way I look.
Right.
Every, in my opinion, every gun that's off the street, the world's a little safer.
Yeah.
You know, because it's
And out of the hands of those that are likely using for ignoble purpose.
or against their own
Right,
family.
right.
You know,
Or
so-
themselves.
Yeah, right. And so I agree with that. Neil,
Yep.
how good's the chief?
TC, he's the
Yeah.
best, man.
Yeah.
You can been on a show like 5 or 6 times. We always have a blast. We always laugh our ass off.
I feel like we're gonna miss him, huh?
Yeah.
Like we gotta go to Palm Springs. We're gonna take the show on the road.
Yeah, I know.
We are.
Thanks,
Palm
Chief.
Springs will never be the same if you two come down. I can guarantee you that.
But thanks, Chief. We've always loved you. That day we went and shot guns.
Oh,
I've never woken up. The next morning I woke up with. I'm not a gun guy. I don't like guns because I don't think anything comes good of anybody with a gun. But I woke up the next morning with a smile on my face.
me
You know?
too. You want to know what?
What?
I brought my target home and I told my wife I beat Neil. She was like, "Good job, honey."
Unbelievable.
I took my target home, as you know. I folded it up.
Oh, I know. I took mine home too.
Yeah.
I kicked your ass, didn't I?
No, sorry. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So be it. I
It was
lost.
a good try.
Thank you.
I want to thank you on behalf of our community.
Yep.
The first day we met you, you told us what you were going to do, and in my opinion, you did it. And that's a win. And I know in our community it's hard to win, and you're going to leave here with like with your score. But I appreciate that you came here and you stayed true to what your
Goals were
your goal was. Yeah, and you're leaving here.
head held high.
Yeah, you're leaving here doing that. And our town, we have, like you said, we have so much pride. There's so much people that are so stoked what's going on here, and you came here and made it better. And whether or not the naysayers say it's better, it's better. So I want to personally thank you for that because your service is so important to Santa Cruz, and you're leaving. This place is better. So we're gonna come to Palm Springs.
Dude, you got to come.
And we're taking the show on the road.
Yeah.
We are. And for all Santa Cruzans, I want to shake your hand and say good job.
Good job.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Good job,
seriously.
And
It's really important.
Yeah.
You two are, you know, in subtle ways, you know, you two are what makes the city great. Because the fun that you have.
We're terribly
Well,
bad.
I'm not too sure how many, you
Yeah.
know,
We're
sharks are regretting trying to take a nibble out of him in the water. But you know, this is a great city. And the only thing I'd ask of all the people out there that are watching this, that are locals, really take care of your cops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure. Because
Yeah.
you never know when you're going to need one.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that. They really are sacrificing for this community.
Right.
And being away from, you know, their family on you know, Christmas and birthdays and nighttime
Right.
and the fatigue. I mean, you know, they'll work all graveyard, then they'll go to court all the next day, get 2 hours of sleep, come back to work that night, and then go to court against the next. And that's not uncommon. So
It's a job that you can't turn off.
you cannot turn it off
Right.
for them.
It's always ongoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're hiring.
We're hiring.
Come on,
Come on down.
Neil.
Me, I'm all for that.
Well,
And I'm terrible with a gun, so
Yeah.
Chief Andy Mills, today Chief Santa Cruz, tomorrow Chief Palm Springs.
it's pretty cool.
Enjoy your time with your grandkids. Again, I want to say thank you from everybody in our community for the good work you did while you were here. And again, I think Santa Cruz is a better town
Yep.
because of your efforts.
Thanks, Chief.
I really
Thanks,
do
TC.
mean that, yeah. And so, Neil, next week on the show,
Ooh, who's the?
we're so professional that we'll